So I'm live. Yay. Uh I had a situation this afternoon, this evening, this morning. Oh, jeez, I'm a little gray. It's been an issue. I can't believe it. I was told that there was going to be a watermelon eating contest. So I practiced at home with a couple slices, and so you basically just need to eat one slice. So I basically, when I practiced at home, happened properly, but when I actually had to, right, eat a piece of watermelon more quickly than everybody else, I did exactly what I did at home, but this watermelon apparently was just a little bit thicker than the watermelon I practice on. And yep, I got a watermelon stuck down the wrong throat. It sucked. A piece like this big, big old chunk. I swallowed, and it was stuck down my windpipe. And I'm like, so this is what it's like not to be able to get air. I'm trying to like pull it out. It was funny. I mean, it's funny now. It was kind of like, oh my god, this is how I die. So this is how I die. Ah, crap. Yeah. I mean, it's a little embarrassing, but it's more like, oh, I'm so glad that somebody was right there next to me, and everybody was like, "Are you okay?" I'm like, "Nope, not okay, not okay." Like universal sign for choking. So somebody's by me doing the Heimlich, and she's like, "Can you get it out?" I'm like, "Hang on, hang on." There it is. There's like 30 people watching me. Like, Lord, yeah, it's like I've been in a situation where I couldn't breathe before, but I guess I had forgotten that situation. Of course, grateful for air at a certain point, but I know I don't care about myself enough to. Yeah, I'm like, yeah, this might be the way I die, but yeah, somebody did the Heimlich. Yeah, I mean, got it, like, yeah, I got it out. And there's this watermelon. You think? Well, see, the watermelon, like, yeah, it was because it was just a little bit thicker, and I practice on thinner watermelon. That's what I get for that. I'm like, had some excitement today. The people had some excitement today. It's glad you're gonna find excitement. I know, I'm like, and then I'm a little shook out, like, it's funny. Oh, yeah, like, I mean, I'm like, how did that happen? She even said, the person gave me the Heimlich, said, "Don't just stuff it in your face," and I was like, "But I'm not." Like, but I really thought that I took a bite size, like almost the whole thing. It worked when I tried it. Did not work when I tried to read the real thing. And it wasn't even that important that I won. I thought it was going to be like how much watermelon we could eat, but it was only one slice. So I'm like, oh, I can one slice that. Like, yeah, just stuff it in there. But unfortunately, I could not do that. So fun, fun. This is how these are how my days go. Right. There's rules and policies and all kinds of other stuff going on. And yeah, I get it. I just don't get it sometimes. And I've gotten to the point where it's just like, well, I'm going to say what I say. And it's okay if people's like first reaction is maybe not so great. Because it just depends on, yeah, like depends on people pick up different tones and stuff like that. But I've gotten to the point where it's just like, no, I realize some of you may not may be doing so well with certain things, and I'm having my kind of struggles, but it's okay for everybody else, okay, to have struggles, but for some reason, like that's not okay with me to have struggles. Okay, well, who made that decision? Because it wasn't God. And quite frankly, I don't care if Jesus is the devil or not. But, like, exactly. I mean, I don't care if the earth is round or bowl shaped. Right. I mean, we have a place to live and we have ways to get around that are, much easier and take less time around Earth. Yeah. Like, that is my point. Like, I mean, I've heard some, you know, decent arguments for flat Earth, but I've seen enough to know I can't really go straight flat Earth. Okay, but I don't care about that. I mean, some people they care, like they have to be right or I don't know. Yeah. Um. So I don't have to be right. Well, yeah. Sometimes I'm like, I wish I was wrong about that. Man, I was praying that I was dead fucking wrong. And when you're not, and you're like, sometimes when you start to get to know people, you start to get to know that they know better, and yet sometimes they don't always do the right thing. And yeah, quite literally pulled a stupid. I mean, yeah, that was a full bore stupid. And so, yes, somebody was right next to me just kept out, are you okay? No, no. I'm like, nowhere, nowhere. Like, they're trying to puke it up or whatever the hell. So grateful for my Heimlich today. Uh, great. Like, but if it hadn't happened, it'd be like, oh, so this is how I die. I still have to find things to live for, and so all kinds of people want to say words to me, but those words do not accompany action. Okay, and some people, if you get dogged enough, and if you get like verbally harassed enough, and if you get verbally abused enough at a certain rate, it you'll definitely have some struggles. So yeah, right. But I am one of those kind of people who've actually been through a bunch of crap in my life. So I'm 53, and I get certain things. Like I get my whole family addicted by something. I get when other people get addicted. Like there are some things that just are hard as balls, especially if you've been doing it a long time. So don't. Yeah, and sometimes society will like say, yeah, like high five that. I'm like, no, don't high five that. Uh, you know, and the other thing is that I appreciate when people try to seem like empathetic, but they try and say, "Well, I don't have any family either," and I'm just like, "Yes, you do. They just don't want to talk to you." Okay, that's different. That's different. Mine are deceased. Hey, I don't need to talk to deceased people. I'm good. Thank you. I didn't need a past life regression. Yeah. So people trying things out on me better stop. Right. Okay. I mean, I know better in some cases, and I don't mind reality. I'm not trying to run away from my life. I'm not trying to run away from anything. And I'm certainly not hiding. And I haven't been hiding. I've been walking around here for, 50 some years. Right. There's no need for me to hide. That is the one thing. I mean, some people, they just won't come forth and say that, right. But me, I'm putting my face to it. I put my name to it. Okay. And if there's something that's unclear, I have to start saying that more often. It's okay. Enter chat. Okay. If you want to talk about something, especially if it has to do with the metaphysical or what some people call the supernatural or parapsychology, which is not necessarily a fringe science anymore. It really isn't because there's just so much. And a lot of research you might not hear about because that's what it is. It's research. Okay, until certain things are discovered. Or, That's why sometimes things take a little longer to get out to the public. Okay. Um, that's just how it is. Okay. But yeah, TV show Supernatural. You want to talk about ice hockey? We'll talk about ice hockey. Like, I probably not want to talk about a sport that's different than ice hockey unless you're talking about the goalies, and then I'm, I'm okay with it. Yeah, goaltending in general, just goalie things. I always happy to run across a goalie. Oh, yeah, that's why when Twitter came out, I was like, oh my god, look at all the goalies on Twitter. Holy shit, yeah, my people. Ah, yay, skeewee. Yeah, goalies. Yeah. And some of us are natural born some things, and some of us, right, it's sort of like some things can get built into you and also get built out of you. And I'm not as paranoid as some other people. And that is the one thing that I'm going to say is, okay, well, I only really look at the medical, you know, right use of THC marijuana. I'm only interested in that. And I prefer not to get all high. Okay? Not that I haven't, but I don't feel that need. I mean, I'm grateful I don't. I'm grateful that I don't. But yeah, so never know what might happen in the day. So today I had to have the Heimlich used on me. Yeah, it was a little bit, it's like now I'm coming back from it. It's like, oh, that was a little nerve wracking, like actually not being able to get any air in at all. Yeah, trying to talk and conserve my air so I can try and get this big old chunk of watermelon out of my windpipe. But that keeps happening more and more, and some of that does have to do with my digestive tract, uh, gastroparesis. So some things are paralyzed. So things like Parkinson's and other movement type disorders do have some similarities in that food tends to start, right, you start having trouble swallowing, and food tends to start traveling right toward the wrong throat. And so you have to be way more careful when you eat. I have to be more careful when I eat anything, actually. I gotta chew it up really good. It takes me longer. I don't mind eating slow. I mean, sometimes you get pushed in a rush, and it's just like, well, I'm not sure why that happens, but regardless, this is something that I'm like willing to share, right? And this is what happens during my day. Yeah. So, there are a lot of things that I use this, and I use my Twitter as, instead of typing it out and putting it on singing from the crease.wordpress.com. Um, I just say it here, and sometimes I'll type stuff in the chat. And so anybody who might be interested in certain things is like, well, a lot of it is already recorded, and I probably have some good takes of certain things that I would want to put in my documentary. Uh, it doesn't have to be as consistent as I thought. Learning another, right? I mean, it's kind of gathered. It's sort of like, yep, revealing itself as I go, and so I I know basically how well I can be heard with certain microphones. And I do need a little bit of equipment, but right now, I mean, it's going to have to be donated or a grant. And some people don't even understand what grants are, but I do. And no, it's not a former president. Right, I look for grants, scholarships, local charity. Okay, I have an actual 501c3. Okay, legit, wholesome effing ministry, and it's getting attacked, and I'm tired of it. Okay, I'm tired of the schmuck. All right, either they were using his photo, or it was this guy and working with some other. Right, he basically been bullying and harassing sick poor woman for money. That's not okay. That's not okay. Twitter X. That's not okay. Okay, like yes, accounts that are using other people's pictures. Okay, it's got to say parody. Well, some people, sign up for that. I didn't. Right, like some friendlies you want to draw horns and curly mustache. Like I'm okay with some. Like I don't care. Like there's some things I don't care about, especially if it's coming from like a place of like good-heartedness and jocularity. And it's another reason why, like, some people may not understand hockey people just with text alone or online, but I mean, we give each other a hard time, like on purpose, right? Sometimes, like, I can't shut your flipping, right? I mean, some of us, some of us appreciate some good insults, and yeah, what I'm saying, like, oh, that was a good one. I wish I'd have thought of that, right? So, and when like certain hockey people I know, like they know they may, and I try to be as lighthearted as I can be. But sometimes it's not really the best way to be. You can't always be lighthearted about everything. It's just it's because some things are like deadly serious, unfortunately, in this world. So there's that. But hey, everybody praying, everybody wants this, everybody wants that, and right. So I took the time while I was sick with COVID to fill out the paperwork and pay the fee, $275 to get registered with the federal government, IRS, and I also took the time to write and find out how what's the procedure for the state of Maryland. Okay, like some of you are wrecking innocent people's lives who've done nothing to you, nothing bad, nothing untoward. Okay, like anybody who's giving me a hard time, it's not like some kind of hacky thing. I mean, sometimes I get it. Like, oh, you're hacky. I see. I see where you're coming from. Like, just go back. Right, go back to Pittsburgh, okay? You know what I'm trying to say? Like, I like Pens fans. They've been nicer to me than Cavs fans, and I grew up a Cavs fan. I don't know what happened. There's some hostility over there for a while. Like, oh, you guys are tanking your own team, but you don't give a shit. Right, blockers, right, press, right. From like 2010, 2009, right? I'm like, you guys get ridiculous expectations. They're not hockey. They're not hockey realistic. They aren't ice hockey realistic at all. And, people need exciting ice hockey. I'm like, no, I don't. Ice hockey is as exciting as it is. Like, a goal is exciting. Occasionally there's fights. Sometimes that's exciting. All right. Well, they probably should fight a little less. I don't understand why they spear killer and nuts. Let's just yeah. Oh, I don't even know what that's like, but that does not seem pleasant. Just let him lay there on cold ice for a minute. Give the man a minute. He's just, like, I don't even care if you're wearing protection. Yeah, it can still kind of hurt. They go after the family jewels sometimes. Yeah, there's no requirement for them to be nice. Well, nice. They'll try to get away with stuff. If they can, they do. Right, I get that. That's another reason why occasionally, like, I have to check a stick. Oh my, right. Some of them just keep playing with a stick with the wrong kind of curve on it until they get caught. Right. there's certain strategies and all kinds of other things, but when it comes to the National Hockey League, yeah, yeah, I'm just like, I, yeah, as long as the players themselves and the people who have to be on ice and the bench people are all in agreement as to what is acceptable and what is not, you know, right? So sometimes they get fined. That's the thing is like there are ways to impress upon someone, right? They have their ways of doing that, and after a while, right, the ones that just seem to be always a problem, even if they've been worked with different franchise, and sometimes it's just they need to be in a different hockey club. Sometimes it's just that simple. It's not right anything complicated. And sometimes it's like, well, I want to play close to my family, so they might right have some preferences. Uh, yeah, I mean, some people who think their family's in a whole other country, right? And they, yeah, and then they. So, I mean, it's difficult, but definitely, yeah, I would not suggest certain people be like inside the glass. Yeah, like yeah, oh, they get mean with each other, all kinds of stuff. I don't know. And I've heard a few stories that they yeah mess with each other and all that kind of stuff. But okay, so I probably will talk about hockey here and there. I'm trying not to get all involved in it because it'll just suck me in, and then I'm like I can't get out of the hockey zone. Help me. What am I supposed to do? I don't know how to get out of the hockey zone. So I just don't know. I don't want to know how I was an asshole. Right, but there's been some spiritual activity and some other things that yes,